at you. Good Monday, everybody. Welcome once again to BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk bass fishing and anything else that we want to talk about. Matthew, you're back.
I think the last time I was in studio, I was wearing shorts and flip-flops, and now it's cold out. It's wintertime. It is November 4th, and it's been a month.
Wow.
It's been a month since I've been in the chair.
Hey, got to give it up to you, man. What an outstanding performance at the Costa Series Championship. We will get into that here shortly. And after I say a couple of things, I got something that I'm going to do with you.
Okay.
All right? We'll get that knocked out. But just a jam-packed week this week. 4 shows. Today we're going to have Seth Feider on. Tomorrow, Defo. Wednesday, one that I'm really looking forward to. Haven't had him on the show in probably 7-8 years. Zell Rowland. And then on Thursday, a special show where we get the NPFL majority owner, Al McCullough, on and talk about this new venture that he's got going on.
That is an exciting week. 4 shows this week.
Yeah,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, 4 shows this week. All right, I want to kick off the show, though. A very somber moment last night. Everybody in the bass fishing world pretty much found out the news that Jerry McGinnis had passed. He had been in the hospital for a little over, I guess, 6 weeks. Had some issues due to an accident. I don't know what it was on a fishing trip that he was on. He was 82 years old, and our thoughts definitely with the McGinnis family and everybody that was associated with JM Productions. And the man had done it for so many years, 40 plus years with the fishing hole, and was a very, very influential man on this game of professional bass fishing. And not just on the bass side. I think a lot of people may not know that he was heavily involved for a period of time there with FLW and so many other things in the fishing world. He was heavily involved in the Timber Sports Series. The one time, and one of the Jerry McGinnis memories that I have, my one and only visit to the JM Studios. I'm sitting in his office, and he's got one of these right here, a yellow tablet sitting on his desk. And Matt, it was jam-packed. I just have a few lines on there.
Full of notes.
It was jam-packed. And
legal pad is
legal pad. All right. And he had probably, 20 pages of notes on this thing or more. And he looked at me and he goes, these are the questions that I have to make this game better. And then he pulled out a pad, and it had like 2 sentences on it. He said, unfortunately, these are the answers that I have right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I didn't know he was, I think I was reading kind of his bio that they put out there on Bassmaster in the article there. Like the Madfin Shark series and even some stuff in saltwater. Remember, he was
Jose Wahibi.
Yeah.
He was a big part of that show. I know when Jose passed away, it was very difficult for a lot of people at JM. But our thoughts are definitely with the McGinnis family and funeral arrangements and all that information is coming out soon.
He was 82.
Yeah, he's 82.
I saw him walking around the weigh-ins and stuff last year, and he just...
Yeah, I remember he told a story about how he got his start in baseball. He actually played minor league baseball. Where? Right here in Oklahoma, in Seminole, Oklahoma. Long time ago.
Seminole. So, that's over by...
it's west of Oklahoma
what's that
City.
Little lake over there that I like to go to all the time?
Sportsman?
Yeah, Sportsman's Lake.
Yeah.
It's got like hydrilla with big stumps in it.
Yeah. So, wow. Great week this week, and very excited about doing 4 shows this week. I want to also thank everybody for the feedback. Dude, we're almost at 700 reviews on iTunes, so we're getting there.
Almost at 700?
Yeah.
Oh, we were just at 600.
Yeah, so we're almost
Impressive.
to 700.
Yeah, I missed a heck of a week. I know I still have not had a chance to go back and listen to Randy Blockett, who is one of my favorites. Whether you agree with him, disagree with him, I love Randy Blockett, his mentality and the way he looks at things and isn't afraid to stir the pot. And then I still got to listen to the Hotline show. You had a lot of good shows.
Yeah, it's great stuff. All right, I want to do something now, and forgive me because I'm going to have to go away from the microphone to get this done. Now, if you remember, there was a situation that we've had on this show a couple of times, many discussions about did you have a successful performance?
Correct.
What is the measurement
How
of
do you
success?
define success?
Yeah, all right, I'm here to say right now, dude, you had a very successful month of October. You had a very successful event at the Costa Series Championship, obviously finishing in third place. But I have something special. What did I do during the Chris Zaldain show? Do you remember that?
You gave him a bottle of champagne.
That's right. All right. I have 2 of these. They're special. This one right here is going to stay corked.
And Mark is holding a bottle of Cook's champagne.
That's right.
It's a gallon of Cook's champagne.
All right. We're not popping this open. I'm saving this bottle for you when you win. Okay? It's going to happen, and we're going to have a freaking party when that happens.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to set that down. But because you did have success, I have something for you.
Okay.
All right. Now, hang on.
Oh my gosh, he's reaching under the desk, folks.
All right,
He comes
there's
back
that.
up. Oh, it's a chalice. It's a cup. I don't know.
I even have one.
You even have
All right. It's not champagne. It's something else. Go ahead and take it.
Martinelli's gold medal sparkling cider, 100% juice from U.S. grown fresh apples.
It's not the good stuff, dude, but I have to give it up to you. I want to celebrate. Let's have some juice, man.
This is the stuff I had at Thanksgiving all the way up until Uncle Dave started pouring some of the wine or champagne into the Sprite bottle when I was like 18.
Go ahead, man. Pop it open. Let's celebrate with a little sparkling juice.
Well, can I put a twist on this, Mark?
What's that?
You've had some success in your return to the senior bowling tour.
Just one little event.
But you had
many,
some
many,
sex.
many, yeah.
You made the money round.
Yeah.
How about we keep this closed too, and then we have one to pop when you win your first senior event, and then we'll pop mine when I win my first big tournament. How's that for a twist?
Let's break open the juice,
okay,
dude.
it's non-alcoholic, so I'll agree to it. I don't think I don't deserve a toast for a third place finish.
No. I'm backing up with what I've said numerous years on this show, that the measurement of success is obviously an individual interpretation and what you truly, truly feel that you accomplished during that event. Do I believe that you had success this past week?
Yeah, we need a bottle opener.
Dude, do we really?
And I've got the how's this for a plug? I got the Columbus Barrel Company Big Stick, but it's at home. I use it to open I even use it to open Coors Lights that don't even need a bottle opener just because it's cool.
Are you kidding me? I thought I had one right here.
If you have a bottle opener there, I'll be very impressed. He's now in the studio searching around the monitor. He's opening drawers. That's the used battery drawer, Mark. He's now over in the upper right-hand corner of the studio, rummaging through that drawer that everyone has in their house.
Man, we gotta have a toast.
You know that drawer everyone has in their house that.
Open it up. Open it with your teeth.
Well, I got.
Oh, you got. Yeah, I know. Well.
I got fake teeth, Mark.
Right here. All right, let's do this. Hey, just kind of summarize what you did, and I'm gonna go get a bottle opener.
Mark's
I'll be
gonna
right
go
back.
get a bottle opener. I mean, I haven't done this in a month, and he's gonna go get a bottle opener. So, hang with us. We'll be back shortly with a bottle opener for the sparkling cider. A month is a long time to be away. I usually would be able to fill the time a lot better, but I'm pretty much all out after talking nonstop on FLW Live for 4 hours and then losing my voice. And his house is remodeled too, so I don't know if he even knows where bottle openers are in there. Studio's like adjacent to the house, so it's about a 10-second walk. It should not be that long. I don't have any control over the music either, else we could get some Jeopardy music.
It's not the greatest, but
3 awkward silences later, we have a can opener.
you know how to use that? Do you know how to use that?
Like that?
I think so.
I'm going to do this away from the electronics.
Oh. Here, do you want me to do it?
I don't think there's a bottle.
Yeah, there is. There is.
Hold on.
Here. There's 2 of those that look like a bottle opener, and only one works. One's got the one little hook on it.
Yeah.
The man can catch 15 pounds when it's brutally tough, but he can't open.
This is like
open
me
a
trying to
bottle.
get that crankbait out of the net. I got to
All right,
buy a
let's
new
see
net.
here.
I made bad decisions. I just don't do it and don't do that right
No,
there.
I got it.
Don't do that right there, Mark.
Hang on, I just got to
If you can open that, I'd be impressed. You were very well prepared except for...
Well, I thought it was just a twist-off thing.
Put it down. You're going
There
to
we
make it
go.
nervous. The show's just going to go off the air.
Oh. So did you do this, man? Get into kind of how you set up the week and then how things went and just an overall summary,
All right.
quick summary.
Well, we'll
And then-
summarize what are we doing later in the show. We have a big guest today.
Yeah. We're going to have Seth Feider here in about 5
on.
minutes.
So he, what did we say, $160,000 in earnings this year?
Unbelievable, man.
No. So unlike Lake of the Ozarks, the last coaster where I caught like 4 fish in 3 days, I like rolled into Cumber.
Oh,
I told you. You just dropped. I told you. The studio is now covered in sparkling apple juice, and that would have been all of your. Look I've made multiple good calls this week on the water, and now I made a good call off the water. That is not a bottle opener, Mark.
It is. I swear it is.
What? Well, you just had sparkling cider spew all over the studio. So what? Did you get it open?
Well, kind of. I put a hole in the top.
Did you get enough to where we could get a sip and actually move into this thing
keep
yet?
going, man. Keep going.
right.
I'm on a mission here.
No. I was at the Costa Championship there on Cumberland in Kentucky, and I had done quite a bit of research on it. And I think I talked with you on a show before, maybe it was even off air. I was like, I look back and I was like, the tournaments I did well in this year, I stayed in one little section of the lake and I learned it really well. Well, Cumberland's 60 miles long. Long story short, I put in at the dam all 4 days and fished basically 2 arms, like otter a little bit of the main lake, and then Indian Creek, which is all the way down by the dam. And I just spent like 3 days in there, really learned it, thought it had the best rock bluff transitions, looked a lot like Grand without the docks, reminded me a lot of 10 Killer, a lot of Table Rock. Had like 18 pounds of smallmouth the first day of practice, was working with Travis Manson. We put together a really solid pattern, and I expected to do well, and then struggled on the first day, had 11 pounds, and then on the second day did about what I thought I could with 15, and didn't expect everyone to struggle like they had, and then only caught 4 on the final day, and that was enough for a 3rd place finish. So in a minute, that kind of summarizes how the week went. We've had multiple awkward pauses on this start. We've had a studio is now
it's all good. It's all
studio
good.
is now covered in apple juice.
Hey, I won't be too concerned if you ever pull off the W when we break open the champagne.
That's like
right
a
here.
full bottle there, Mark.
It's non-alcoholic.
Did you get?
Hey, good job, dude. Proud of you. And I know a lot of people out there, the instant feedback blowing up. A lot of people very, very proud of you. A lot of people were pulling for you, but
That's good sparkling. Can we edit that part out for the iTunes when you left to
Probably,
go get it?
probably.
I'm not good at filling it by myself when I'm not expecting to.
what happened?
Oh, I just looked at the camera.
That's it? You didn't say anything?
No, I explained. It was awkward.
I told you just to go into some of the details about what you were talking
I know,
about.
but usually you lead me into it and I can get on a roll. And I was just looking at the camera, just like
awkward silence.
I was
huh?
like, hey, Mark will be back shortly. And then I realized I was using the radio voice and not my normal voice. It got pretty awkward.
Wow.
That's what we're going to have to cut that out.
Well, see, I need to
for my
explain.
benefit.
People out there are probably going, Jeffries, dude, you don't have a bottle opener in the studio. I do somewhere, but inside the house, we were doing the remodeling thing.
I did say
geez.
that. I said there's a good chance you wouldn't be able to find it because your house is newly remodeled.
Yeah, it was all over the place. Anyway, all right, we need to take a break.
Oh, my gosh.
But great job, dude. Good way to kick off the week. And we'll talk more about it. I'm sure people have questions about, your adventures over the week. And just that final day, most stressful moment in your life, at least your fishing life.
I said it was bar none the most stressful, non-life-threatening moment of my life. Let's go as far as to say 24 hours because of what happened yesterday at the Bass Nation. We'll kind of lead into that. Maybe have a segment after Seth Feider to get into that because that was pretty Western what happened there too.
All right.
But yeah, 1 minute. I had 1 minute for $15,000.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the seconds to see whether it would happen. And fortunately,
hey, it all worked out, man.
Rob Burns came through with the angel wings on his back.
You better get him a $200 steak dinner. I'm telling you right now.
Saved my bacon.
All right, everybody, coming back with Seth Feider right here on a Monday, everybody. Stay tuned.
Serious about catching fish, that HDS is a dead giveaway. You've got the best fish finding sonar money can buy. Time to build the ultimate fish finding system with live sight sonar. See what your lure is doing in real time. Watch fish strike as it happens. See for yourself. Take the Live Sight Sonar 30-day challenge. If Live Sight Sonar doesn't help you find and catch more fish, send it back, no questions asked.
All of us on the Pro Tournament Trail use Gamakatsu hooks.
Why?
Because they are absolutely the best.
It's not about how many bites you get.
It's how many you put in the boat.
Gamakatsu makes hooks for every fishing style.
We didn't come this far to lose fish.
Did you?
For more information, visit gamakatsu.com.
We've paired one of the most iconic hulls in the history of bass boats with a proven lineup of trusted accessories. We're bringing you best-in-class value and performance, leaving others in your wake. Turnkey value, turnkey performance. The Pantera 2 is an overachiever in the 19-foot category. Once you hit the throttle, you'll feel the rush, and there's no looking back.
Guys, Gerald Swindle, Sunline Pro Staff. If you're a flipper, a slackline hook setter, you're really putting a lot of impact into your hook set, look for the shooter. It comes off the smooth, really smooth. Like when you're flipping, it is smooth. If you're gonna be drop shotting and cranking, Sniper's the deal, man. It seems like it's a little bit less likely, like on a sharp hook set, it don't seem like it likes it as much. But for coming off the spool on spinning rod, leaders, cranking, like if I'm gonna throw a big plug at Gunnersville, I've still got strong tensile strength. It's not gonna give out on me, but yet the line's thin enough it'll get down. So to me, shooter takes a hook set, Snipers for everything else. So if you're gonna slack line them, go shooter.
Blue Water by TH Marine. Offering LED lighting solutions for your boat, trailer, truck, ATV, and so much more. Engineered and built to be rugged with waterproof and submersible options. Designed for easy installation, Blue Water is available in a variety of colors and styles. All backed by a limited lifetime warranty. Blue Water by TH Marine.
The name SPRO says it all. SPRO stands for Sports Professionals. When you look at the pro staff that SPRO has brought on board over the past 15 years, it's been pretty incredible. I mean, one got it just then. From the development of the rock crawler to the McStick, from the Fat Papa to the Little John series, when you tie a SPRO bait on, you know it's been designed by a professional to get the job done.
At Duckett Fishing, we have assembled the top pros in the country to help us design rods to give you a competitive advantage. Castability, strength, durability, action, sensitivity, weight and balance, and consistency. Combine that with the best warranty in the industry, and you have rods that are pro-driven.
Ducket Fishing, pro-driven.
I got my power pole down, stuck in the mud in the bottom of the lake, sitting so still in the wind and the waves, could even be a hurricane. I got my power pole down.
Hey guys, Cliff Perch here with AFCO. I've got the new camo hooded reaper. It's going to be a great thing both for fishing and hunting this fall. I can tell you a couple of the features about it. Got the face mask like all the reapers do, vented in front. It's got the fleece on the inside, so it's really comfortable. It's super warm. When you come down to the pocket, it's got this little snap system called Block Tapey, and it's silent. You know, it doesn't make that sound that other snaps and other systems that hook it together make. Great for hunting, and it's going to keep that stuff in your pocket.
All right, we are back on a Monday, trying to clean up the studio a little bit here during the break.
I think it's fitting that we have Seth Feider on because he's not like super like that's his thing now. Is like, I'm Seth Feider.
Things happen.
Yeah, things happen.
Yeah, just roll with
it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how it went with us trying to open the bottle of sparkling cider that did not go well. Required 5 minutes, a trip to the kitchen, and now the floor's sticky.
Yeah. Yep. Have to clean it up afterwards. All right. A number of requests to get this guy on the show, Matthew. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we've never had him on. Is that true?
No, we've had him on before.
When?
I know we've had him on before. Like after he won Mille Lacs.
You think so?
Yeah, we've had him
I didn't
on.
go back and look. Maybe once then. Not very many times.
The Stray Cast guys have a monopoly on him. He's like their weekly co-host.
He's got a weekly booking there.
Yeah,
man. He's part of the show.
They have whole segments with him and stuff. So
yeah. All right, let's bring him in. Seth, you there, man?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, man. Welcome to the show. It's according to Matt, it's been a while. Do you remember when you were on the show last?
No, I'm sure it was after the Mille Lacs deal.
Yeah.
All right.
He does a lot of interviews now. Like
thanks for having me.
You're commodity.
He's big time now.
He's a hot commodity.
He is. And when we were getting this show set up and testing the phone call to make sure everything was, I was like, dude, man, I gotta ask you. I just want to make sure my math's right. You've won over $160,000 this year, and he's like, yeah, had a pretty good year.
Hit the $500,000 mark in earnings.
Yeah. So seriously, Seth, $160,000. That's pretty damn good.
Oh, yeah. That's the best year I've ever had.
Talk a little bit about going into the season. Obviously, your game was really close to where it needed to be to have the performance that you did in 2019. But what really kind of took you over the edge? I mean, geez, your worst finish was 38th this year.
Yeah, that's something I've been working on. Just in the early years, I had a lot of, I'd have some good finishes, and then I'd throw up some really bad bombs, and just kind of really tried hard this year, more so to not bomb than anything else on certain ones. When we go to places like St. Lawrence or Cayuga, anytime we go up north, I feel pretty confident, but I'm still not that good down south, and like tidal waters are still my nemesis. So honestly, like, I think my worst finish this year was at Winya Bay, but that's the kind of place that I usually, come in next to last at. So I was actually pretty proud of the finish I had there, even though it was my worst one,
That was it. It was Winya. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember when you first came on the Elite Series, it was this guy can catch him up north. And I've always said, like, one of the hallmarks of a great angler is they catch them where they're supposed to catch them. Like, where you look at it and say, that guy's supposed to catch him here, and then you go out and catch him. I think as the commentators and people watching making it seem easy, yeah, he's supposed to catch him, but like that's really tough too when you're supposed to catch him and you know you're supposed to catch him to actually go out and catch him. Yeah. Long story short, I remember having a conversation with someone. I said, man, if this guy could figure out how to catch the fish in the South, he would be unbeatable, because the way the Elite Series schedules have set up for the past 4 or 5 years, you get like a string of wheelhouse derbies. And then if you could survive the Southern tournaments, you'd be like an unstoppable force. How did you still said you haven't figured out, but how did you figure out how to catch them well enough to be in the mix then in Anglers of the Year and 160,000 in earnings down south?
That's just something that came with time. It's been a slow process. Didn't happen overnight. Every year I fish, I just get a little more experience down south on reservoirs and just kind of chipping away at it and try to get a little better every year. Like I said, it doesn't happen overnight, and I'm still working on it. But hopefully one of these years I'll start to be really confident when I go down south. I'm still not yet, but like I said, every year it gets a little more familiar and stuff clicks a little better.
What's the toughest thing for a northern angler going down south? I know we have a lot of viewers who listen, they fish the Bass Nation, stuff like that, and then they have to go down south for a regional. Like, what is the toughest thing? And then maybe a tip or suggestion that you could offer for someone who's used to those natural lakes, possibly the rivers, the smallmouth, the open water, going down south into one of those TVA fisheries.
Yeah, I don't know. I still struggle with it, but every lake growing up, we fish around the house. It's all natural lakes. The water levels don't go up and down. They're full of grass. Seems like the places that are a lot more consistent up north. Like, if you find a good spot, like, you're probably going to catch them there every single day of the event. And I don't know if that's a seasonal thing or what, because it seems like most of the fishing we do down south is in the spring, and up north it's in the summer. So I think they're kind of like locked into where they're going to be for a while. And down south, it just seems like where I was there and pre-spawn around the spawn, it just seems like the fish move a lot. Like, when you find a school up north in the summer, they're pretty much going to be there, for a couple weeks. And down south, especially in that pre-spawn period, it just seems like you really just got to figure them out that day versus, getting really locked into waypoints you put down or something like that.
Seth, how many times have you just loaded up the truck and boat and went south and said, you know what, I need to get better on this type of structure? Have you done that? Is that something that you're planning on doing in the future? Or is it just kind of, hey, I'm showing up, I've got my practice time, I'll figure it out?
I used to do it when I was getting started a bit more. I'd go down early before the events and, try to fish, the neighboring lake or whatever the closest thing I could fish to that place was. But I don't know. It's just, that didn't really work out that well for me. It's more just a mindset and getting in, knowing that the fish are going to be moving constantly and you're going to have to figure them out every day. But I don't do that as much anymore as I used to, but it definitely helped. And it's just something that comes with time. Every year we fish 5-6 tournaments down there, and just kind of starts clicking a little more every year. But still not to the point where I'm really confident with it. But avoiding those bombs is just the biggest thing for me down there. It's just kind of learning when to swing and when not to. When I go down to those kinds of tournaments, I'm not necessarily trying to win more so than I am just trying not to bomb. And when we go up north, I know that's my time to try to swing on one or make something happen.
This is kind of I'm just really curious on this. With the success that you've had over the last few years on the Elite Series, do you consider yourself getting to the point where you're a superstar in this game simply because of the performances that you've had on the water? Are you becoming more recognizable because of your look, or because of the way that you're starting to just dominate on the Elite Series? What are your thoughts on that?
I think the mustache goes a long ways, but as far as the fishing goes, I'm still scared every time I go down south, and I still feel more like a rookie than I do a superstar. But just got to take it one event at a time. It's I don't know. I'm never confident when I head down south. Still to this day.
How much of an impact has Mark Zona had on your career? And you watch the Zona's Awesome Fishing shows and kind of how it seems like he's kind of been the guy who's been like, dude, embrace everything that you are, and then everybody has kind of taken it from there. But just kind of talk about your relationship with him and what that means.
No, 100% Zona's got a lot to do with it. We shot a show right after the Mille Lacs one, and that's kind of the first time I got to hang out with him. But the guy gets it. He knows what's going on, and he's the reason I got the mustache. He told me to keep it and roll with it and all that, and it's been working out good. But I will say that guy he's the best fisherman I've ever fished with. I haven't really fished with that many Elite Series guys, but I don't think he gets enough credit just because he does a TV show and stuff like that. He's not really doing the tournament scene anymore, but that guy's an amazing fisherman, and I've learned a lot from him. And even with just fishing and then the business side of the deal too.
All right, let's talk about the business side of it.
He's done a lot for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the business side. Do you like dealing with that? Do you feel comfortable? Is that something that you're really intrigued with to try and position your brand, not only with the companies that you're current with and make things better, but actively seek new companies based upon the year that you've had this past season?
Yeah, no, I don't mind the business side of it. I wish we could all just go fishing and that'd be it, but that doesn't pay as well as the sponsor side of the stuff. So, and at the same time, I don't really I'm in a good enough position now where I don't have to do those dirty deals where I'm working with companies I don't like or don't believe in their product just because they offer a bunch of money. So I'm kind of picky on deals I do now and just, want to use the stuff I want to use versus, trying to make an extra buck by using subpar equipment and, promoting stuff I don't believe in.
Do you like to get into the R&D and developing things for the companies that you're with?
Yeah, I really like that aspect of it. Some of the bigger companies I don't have as much impact with, but there's one local company out of Minnesota, Outcast Tackle, just a little jig company, kind of mom and pop deal, but they let me make a bunch of stuff, and I really enjoy that part of it.
So is that what you do most of? Obviously you duck hunt, you do all the hunting stuff, but how much do you fish, like from now until January, February when the season kicks off?
None. Not at all. I probably should. It's probably been about a month since I made a cast, but I really enjoy duck hunting. It's probably my favorite thing to do, so I like doing that quite a bit. And then that kind of wraps up here beginning of December. And then I got a buddy that lives on Table Rock. I'll usually go down there and do a little bit of winter fishing. And then basically just get stuff ready for the season at that point. So it kind of sucks living up here. I build up a lot of rust in the off season, which isn't a good thing, but you gotta enjoy life. And I really like duck hunting, so it's hard for me to miss that. And where I live right now, you'd be hard pressed to go catch a bass right now. Lakes are going to be frozen here in a week.
Is it surprising to you how many northern anglers are kind of dominating the circuit now? You look at the Johnson brothers that did come in. You've got Gussie, you, obviously Van Dam's from Michigan. You've got a lot of northern anglers that are very successful on the pro tours when you look into the relation of the number of Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, Florida, Louisiana guys. Why do you think the northern guys, especially over the past 7, 8, 10 years, have done so well on the pro tours?
I think that's a couple things. One, you're starting to see a lot more smallmouth tournaments. It's not all that early pre-spawn down south stuff with our schedule. You're mixing in 2, 3, 4 events up north and mixing in some smallmouth. So I think that goes to it. And then the other thing, the advantage I think we have up here, our fishing's really good up here when we can fish. So it's really easy for a guy to pick something up he's never done and go get a ton of bites on it. Where down south you might be fishing for doing what you're supposed to be doing, catching 10 fish a day. And up here I could go out, say I never drop shot it before. I could rig up a drop shot and go out on these lakes up here and get, 50 bites a day on it, no problem. I think that helps learning techniques and stuff like that and giving you a lot more confidence in them. I think you can get good at doing stuff a lot faster up north, even though we have obviously a shorter fishing season. But our lakes up here just got so many fish in them. You can do whatever. You could go out and do whatever, even if it's not the right deal for that time of year, you can do it and still catch a lot of fish on it. So I think it's easy to learn new techniques and get good at them versus down south where, you guys got a lot more fishing pressure. Our fish are just really dumb up here. It just allows you to, it's true. We don't get the pressure you guys have, like Gunnersville compared to, I'm surrounded by thousands of lakes and they receive minimal bass pressure. I can go, and then we got a lot of fish in our lakes. I can pick up something I've never done before in my life, go out and get a lot of bites on it and really learn a technique, really fast versus, getting a couple bites on it a day down south.
Are there any lakes up there that, if you could pick one lake that the guys that haven't been to up there, is there any lake that you're like, man, I would love a tournament on this. No one's heard of it. It's big enough. It can handle everything, and it would be crazy?
See, the problem is a lot of our really good lakes are small.
Yeah, that's what
so
I was
they wouldn't
wondering.
handle it. I would love a tournament for my own selfish reasons to be on Lake Minnetonka. Like that was my kind of basically my home lake where all our major tournaments in Minnesota go down. Basically our only lake that receives any pressure. I'd love to have one here. They had some Bassmaster top 150s back in the day, mid 90s on them, and everybody that fished them loved them. But the problem is when people look at it on the schedule, it's only a 14,000 acre lake, so they think of it as really small, but it's got so much vegetation in it, just expansive amounts of it. Like it really fishes a lot bigger than a lot of the places we go that are, acreage wise 10 times the size. Minnetonka fishes twice as big as those, even though it's only a 14,000 acre lake.
Besides winning the Angler of the Year event that took place, the last event during the season, what do you think your greatest moment was this year? From your perspective. In other words, it was something where maybe you were totally lost and then you figured it out. What was a memorable moment besides the win this year, Seth?
Honestly, it's my worst finish. It's Winyah Bay.
Really?
Yeah, just because that's the kind of place where historically I've gotten, really finished really close to the bottom, and to come out of there without completely bombing on a type of fishery that I typically don't do well on. That's probably the one I'm the most proudest of, even though it was literally my worst finish this year.
You talk about bombing and stuff down south. I'm sitting here looking at your stats. Your last bomb was the first tournament of 2018. You go 20 without a bomb, and that was the 91st place finish that you had at Lake Martin.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since you've really sucked.
Hence, that's why he's...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Well, that's what I've tried really hard to work on that. It's those top 10 finishes go a long ways too, but it's those big bombs that kill you more than anything, I think.
So you go in, let's just take, for instance, 2 years ago, Kentucky, 34th place finish. You go into that, a win, quote unquote, for you is a 34th place finish. That's where you leave that, 100%. You've got to check, and you're I kicked butt this week. I did exactly what I wanted to do. Could not be happier with how things went.
Yep. Yeah, I'm happier when I get that kind of finish versus when I go to the St. Lawrence, and I think St. Lawrence this year I finished, I don't know, it wasn't great. In the 20s, maybe 30s. Okay, yeah. I'm mad when I leave the St. Lawrence finishing 28th, and I'm happy as can be when I leave Kentucky Lake finishing 34th.
Cool.
Interesting.
So it's kind of the difference between a neutral zone press versus running a 4-1, crashing the boards.
Yeah. Are you excited about the 2020 schedule?
Yeah, it's going to be killer. It's going to be a slugfest from start to finish, with the exception of Sabine. And Sabine kind of gets a bad rap, but I kind of like that place more and more every year I go there. It's got a lot of fish in it. Obviously not big ones, but other than that, the whole schedule is going to be an absolute slugfest. Like, I saw an interesting article on Bass Fan they just put up with the numbers from this year, and like you could tell, like we went to good places at the right time, because I looked at they had like average per day or whatever, and I had like 16 some pounds was like my average weight for the year. Like, I remember like when I started growing up or started getting into the thing, like they went to so many places like at the wrong time, where I always said, like, if you caught 15 pounds every single day of the year, like you'd win a lot of tournaments and, you'd have a crazy good year. But now with the way they've been scheduling the last 2 years, like that's just, you got to do better now.
Yeah, you throw Lake Fork in there, Gunnersville, St. Lawrence River, Cayuga. I mean, that Winyah Bay really hurt the average per day, though.
Yep. It's all right. You still got to have one of those every year just to, grinders are good,
Yeah.
I just don't like a lot of them. One year is fine.
Selfish question, though, because we're based in Oklahoma here, and Jeffries and I fish 10-killer a lot. What do you think of 10-killer?
I've been there twice now. Obviously, September down south is just, it's not the right time to go down there. Fishing's always tough. But I will say down south, Oklahoma is my favorite state to fish. It just seems like you can just stay shallow the whole time and catch fish, and you don't have to think about a lot of stuff. It's basically, flipping or spinnerbait and swim jigging. It seems like you can take a lot of your tackle out of your boat when you go to Oklahoma. But I went to 10-killer the year we fished Grand. I forget what year that was, 2-3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 2 years ago. I went to 10-killer for a day before Grand tournament. Water was up in the bushes, and I got on like the best stretch of bushes I've ever fished in my entire life. Just skipping a white swim jig in there. I don't know what was going on, but I caught like a 3 to 4 pounder like every 2 or 3 skips for like 500 yards. Well, I know the lake's got them. When we went there it is September down south. It's that's not the time to be there. But I was there. I forget when we were at Grand. I think it was April, but I was there that year, April, at 10-killer, and I had an absolute blast.
Cool.
Nice. All right. Now, we're coming up on the holiday season. Do you get in the holiday spirit? Are you all about Christmas?
I do like Christmas. The rest of the holidays, I'm not that excited about. Christmas is just a good time, though. Like Thanksgiving and Halloween and all that, no big deal. But I do enjoy Christmas. Like I'll put on an ugly sweater and fire up the fireplace, and
Nice.
All about it.
Do you put lights up? Are you a light guy?
Not real big. We'll do a tree, fake tree. A little bit of decorations around the house. Not real big on the decorations. It's just kind of a waste of time, I think.
Out of that group of guys who just got back from that duck hunting trip, who's the worst shot?
Who's the worst shot?
Yeah. Because you had some big names in that.
Yeah.
Well, Douglas and JP Kimbrough, they're pretty new to it, so probably one of those two. Andy Young's old school duck hunter. He's been banging for a long time. He can shoot pretty good. I'd say somewhere between Douglas and JP. Just, they're kind of new to it,
Oh, I got you.
All right, man. Great stuff. Hey, we need to have you on more often, but just a tremendous season. And you got to be fired up, as you mentioned, about the 2020 schedule. I mean, it's it's really, really good.
It's like half the season is like the Seth Feider schedule.
Yeah. It's really, really good.
Yeah,
so, looking forward to seeing see what you can do, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be fun. And congrats, Matt, on the Costa Championship. That was a nice finish.
Thank you. That was smallmouth. You'd be proud of me.
Yeah, nice.
They're different, though. They've got these... I don't know if you've ever fished it. They've got like these really broad, long tails. They're like kind of boat oars. And they absolutely can own you with those tails. They're so powerful.
But kind of a river smallmouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Seth,
Cool.
man. Best of luck to you in 2020, and happy holidays, man.
Yeah, thanks. You
All
guys
right.
too.
All right, take care.
Yep, you too. Bye.
All right, there you have it,
First
folks.
happy
Seth Feider.
holidays of the year coming on a November 4th.
Yeah.
You're like Walmart.
And Lowe's
you're
and
getting
Home
the-
Depot and everybody.
Getting the holiday spirit out early.
I noticed that when I had to go get some stuff, man. There has been a ton of Christmas stuff out already. It just gets over and over and over and over and over and over overexposed.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have Christmas stuff out after the 4th of July almost.
I'll tell you what. I'll say something about Seth that I've noticed. Like, yeah, a lot of people want to talk about the mustache and the mullet and the I don't care and the dress up and all that stuff. But I've always said this. Success, especially long-term success, comes down to catching fish and results. And what Seth has experienced is the perfect marriage of experiencing success at the right time while simultaneously developing a persona. That's him. I mean, he's still being himself, but he's living up. You know,
No, you're dead on.
He works it up.
Yeah.
So, he could have caught the fish but not had it. Now he's just another guy who catches them. He could have had the personality but not caught him. Now he gets so much exposure because of what he looks like and how he acts. But when you put the two together, that's where the magic happens. And that's what we've seen with Seth Feider is everything he does, he backs up on the water and off the water. And, I mean, the dude goes from last tournament, has to catch him to re-qualify for the Elite Series, and he's just a northern dude who got his butt kicked down south that you don't hear from again, to a legitimate, bona fide superstar in the sport.
Agree 100%.
That happened in the last 5 years, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't even get into the conversation about how he got started in the old Bassmaster
The
Opens.
weekend series.
Yeah, the weekend series.
It's a weekend series.
Yeah, not the Opens. Anyway, people want to know, man. They want more. They want more info on your eventful week on the Cumberland River. I don't know what you got into. It sounds like to me you went silent for 5
I
minutes.
didn't get into much. I explained your house.
All right, probably the number one question on the instant feedback about you is they want to know what happened on the final day. They want to know what happened with your explanation of your situation where you barely got back to the weigh-in and all that.
So obviously I've been running the new Lynx, which I thought was supposed to be like slower than some of the other like sportier bass cap models. Like this is the
it's wider.
This is the wider,
yeah.
broad platform, which you don't even know there's anyone in the back deck when you're running the thing.
Yeah.
But I had that thing like 75 all week. I was very happy with how fast it went. So I go down. So on the way back, I had the live cameras with me and the drone and all that stuff, and I knew that I wasn't going to win the tournament at that point, or had a very, because I've covered this nonstop for 12 years, and the tournament winner, there's certain guy, you'll have a blogger, you'll have a still photographer, you'll have a couple spectator boats, like you'll have the guys around you that are getting the story for the winner. But I knew I was doing well based on how, I had the camera boat that stayed with me, the drone came by and stuff. So I was making a 54-mile run down there, and on the way back, and the Merc the new Merc has been phenomenal. Absolutely love that motor. Never had any issues whatsoever with it. So I have 43 minutes left, and I believe it or not, I'd actually done the math and timed it out, like I was dialed in, and I had like 42 minutes left, and I was 31 miles from the launch ramp. So I was I was looking for a specific type of rock on the bluff. So when I saw it, I just stopped, make 3 or 4 casts. I'm like, maybe magic will happen, because I didn't practice up lake at all by the ramp. So I stop on this, I make 3 or 4 casts, and I say, all right, we're out of here. We got to go in. We'll have time to fish for 6 minutes, which gave me about 9 to 10 minutes of wiggle room, right? So I was pushing it, but I was totally fine.
Yeah.
I knew I had enough. And at this point, I'm thinking, 25,000, 20,000, 15, 10. There's a big gap in between those places. So I wanted to make sure I was good. Well, I go to start the motor, it just goes ding, 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 and it doesn't start.
Wouldn't turn over.
It's like a shit. The best way to explain it is it acted like it was in gear, so it wouldn't start, but it wasn't in gear.
Right.
Well, I'm not mechanical. You know me. I know how to like prime the bulb, make sure everything's hooked up, and jump start it.
Yeah.
So that takes a minute or two. And I'm pretty calm. So I turned to my co-angler. I said, "Are you mechanical?" He says, "No." I said, "Well, we don't have time to figure out something we don't even know what we're looking at." And it still wouldn't start. So I call up a tournament director. I said, "Can I jump in the camera boat, beach my boat?" And he says, "Yes." So the lake is like really steep and rocky, right?
Yeah.
So I have to like troll all the way back to the back of this pocket to put the poles down. So now I've got like 4 or 5 minutes, but it's still good. I can hop in the camera boat. We'll make it back plenty of time.
Yeah.
Well, I troll probably about 200 yards back here. Probably about 5 minutes later, the phone rings, and I'm about to put the poles on. And he's like, "Hey, I gave you some bad information. Since it's a final day, there's only 5 camera boats out there. It would be unfair if you could jump in with the camera boat, but the 5 guys who don't have a camera boat with them wouldn't be able to do that. So you have to ride in with another competitor or get towed in."
Okay.
Well, during this time that I've been trolling to the back that I think I jump with the camera boat, 3 guys have gone past. Which I'm fine. I mean, I didn't even try to stop them. I thought I could jump in. That's when the adrenaline kicked in, because now I'm 200 yards in the cut, and I know that there's 6 guys down there, and 4 of them have already passed. So I turn around, I hightail it back out, and I'm like, I'm screwed, because there's
heart pumping.
Oh yeah, the heart, and like I still got the FLW live camera on me, and I've just had this epic day where I caught these 3 big smallmouth.
Yeah.
So I get out there, and one of the other boats runs past. So now that's 5 boats that I've seen.
There's only 10 on the water.
Go past, and there's only 10, right? But I knew, you just kind of know, like I had run past a couple guys, and so I start waving the net in the air as I'm going, and I see one more boat coming. It's way off on the other side. I mean, I don't know how he saw me. So now I'm in the middle of the river, the middle of the lake.
Yeah.
And he spins around and comes. Now now I've got 37 minutes to check in, and I'm 31 miles. So he comes back, and I said, "Hey, can I jump in?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "My boat only goes 62. It was Rob Burns. He was in second, and he's got a limit.
Oh, geez.
So he said, yeah. So fortunately, I had my life jacket on. His co-angler didn't have any fish. My co-angler didn't have any fish. I chucked my fish in there. As I'm putting them in, I put the big one in. He's like, I changed my mind. I'm not sure I want to pick you up now, as a joke. So now I have the dilemma. I can't leave my boat in the middle. So I called the tournament director back. I said, can I spot lock it in the middle of the river? No, because then people don't know that someone didn't jump in. Then So now I'm like, I don't have time to get my boat to the opposite side of the bank. And Rob said, my boat goes 62. Now we've got 34 minutes and we're 31. And his boat goes 60 and there's 4 people in it now.
Yeah.
And he's got possibly going to win the tournament, 50,000, 25,000. I'm in the top 3, 20,000. We got 50,000 riding on this. The camera boat's still there. The guy's on it. Split second decision. I said, the camera boat operator had his son with him. They were great guys. I wish I knew their names. I'd give them a massive shout out right now. They came, I shook their hands afterwards, and just in the chaos, I didn't. So now I say, if the camera boat operator's son gets in my boat and tows it to a dirt ramp that I could see on the opposite side of the river and beaches it, can I leave my boat with him? And he goes, yes. And Rob goes, you got 10 seconds to be in my boat or I'm leaving.
Oh, geez.
I look at that kid and I say, you get in the boat, put it on the bank, jump in the boat, and we make it back with a minute and a half left.
Unbelievable, man.
Rob finishes second. I finished third.
Wow. And then how'd you get... So the camera guy...
So get this.
Beached it? Is that what
So
happened?
I don't know what the heck happened. So now I'm at the weigh-in. So this is cool. This is where the... and if I start getting long-winded here, let me know. This
You're
is
good,
where
man.
like
People want to hear this.
The brotherhood of bass fishing and like true friends and guys who take care of each other in these moments.
Yeah.
Kevin Ledoux. He's been in these situations before. He fished this tournament. He thought he was on some stuff. It didn't pan out. So he stuck around because my co-angler, who really didn't have much to fish on the final day, I kind of feel bad for him the way I was burning those banks. My co-angler the day before caught a couple finesse fishing. Dude was not a finesse fisherman. But his buddy was my co-angler. And he stuck around and watched me and stuff on the water. Ledoux's at the ramp. He knows we're broken down. He comes. He said, what do you need? And I said, no, we're good, dude. He goes, no, seriously, what do you need? I said, I got my keys here. I said, I dropped a pin where I left the boat. I said, I need my boat back here. He just No questions asked. Should have been halfway home to Oklahoma by then. Stuck around. Got my truck. Had to put gas in my truck because I didn't have gas in my truck. Went and found that ramp, put my boat on the trailer, and brought it back. No questions asked. So big shout out to Kevin Ledoux for doing that. So that's how I got the boat back.
Wow.
Should I tell the second half of the story then?
Wow.
Real quick?
Real quick, man.
Real quick. So then I'm supposed to fish the Bass Nation on Keystone Lake on Sunday. But I made the cut, so I couldn't practice. It's 12 hours away. Takeoff's at 6:30. I gain an hour with Central Time. I gain an hour with Daylight Savings Time. My girlfriend, once I made the cut, booked a one-way ticket to Nashville from Tulsa. So after the weigh-in, now my boat is broken, but Travis Manson, who I roomed with, Smallmouth Crush, was like, dude, it's a shift capacitor thing. Like, once it joggles free, it'll recognize that it's in neutral and it'll start again. He goes, happened to me a couple weeks ago. So he's like, watch. So he started it, and it started. Dry started. So I'm like, okay, I can get one start out of this boat at least before it happens again. I have to finish in the top 5 in the Bass Nation to make the state team that I fish for all year, to make the regional, to get to the national championship, to get to the classic. I really want this thing. So I fished all 3.
Yeah.
So I picked my girlfriend up in Nashville at the Nashville airport at like 8 p.m. She jumps in the driver's seat. I pass out for 5 hours on the way home, finish driving, drop her off at the house, charge my battery for 20 minutes while I go in, take a shower, change clothes. So I know I've got a boat that may or may not start and a trolling motor that has maybe 10% battery on it, because those guys had to high bypass it all the way over to that ramp for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But I got to give it a shot. I can't just mail it in, Mark. I've already fished the 3. 33 guys in it. So I roll up, 6:15, get to the ramp, get my boat number, go to my starting spot, turn the motor off, fish for 4 minutes. I'm like, I need to go to the windier side. Stuck in that spot the rest of the day. So I'm like, I guess I'll fish this bank again. Spin around, next 5 casts, 4-pounder, 3-pounder. Now I've got 2. Now I go around the point and realize, oh, I'm on high bypass and my boat's barely moving. So I go back around the point where I'm at, back in, power pole down, stay there for 6 hours, cull twice and weigh in 1364. My buddy Brock rolls by. I have to call the tournament director again, say if my fish are clearly marked, throw them in Brock's live well. My day's done. Leave a note on the boat that says I'm okay, headed to weigh in, will be back, boat broke down. Then watch Brock fish for the last 2 hours while I sat there and ate trail mix and Powerade, finished 5th and made the state team on a tiebreaker, and then drove here this morning.
What was the tiebreaker? You remember what it was?
There's like 50. I haven't seen the results because I wasn't there when they announced any of it, because I went out to get my boat back towed in.
Yeah.
And now I'm here.
Wow.
And then I got to go cash a check after this.
That's a good thing. That's a real good thing.
So that's the
Hey man,
rundown.
destiny is yours.
If you want a
That's
rundown
great
of
weekend.
exactly what ended up having to go down in the Costa, how I caught him, why I caught him, working with Travis, some of the crazy stuff that went on during the week. I will be working this week. Actually, the Lake of the Ozarks Africa Bass Boot Camp comes out first, but I will be working this week on the Cumberland. It'll probably be about an hour long, and all this stuff will be in it, about the bait, the Spro rock crawler, how I came up with the weird colored drop shot worm, found the fish. I mean, it's cool when you're in a 200 boat tournament and you and your roommate finished 3rd and 5th.
You guys were dialed in.
We didn't have a damn room. We didn't know anything that was going on. I mean, it was like 11 o'clock at night. We're trying to air out our stuff over the heater in there. It was chaos.
Yeah.
It's good times, though.
Yeah. So does a top 3 finish get you in the FLW Cup if it exists?
Okay, this is the second craziest thing that ever. So I was obviously heated if you watch that show.
Yeah.
Top 2 guys, Cup doesn't exist. Top 2 guys in each division go to it. So at Grand, Costa on Grand, I finished 50th. Catch a fish at the end of the day to finish 50th. Win the tiebreaker to finish 40th in the points in the Southwestern division. Following?
Okay.
The way the rules work, and then a week later, 6 days later, I finished 34th in the Central Division. So I double qualified, but the way the rules work, you represent the region in which you first qualified in. So because the Grand event in the Southwest Division was a week before the Central Division, I went in the Southwest Division. Both Andrew Upshaw and Rob Burns, guess what division they're in?
That same
Southwest Division. So had the Cup been on the table, I would have finished 3rd in the tournament. I would have finished 3rd in the Southwest Division, missed the Forest Wood Cup. because those two were ahead of me, even though I was the highest finisher in the Central Division.
Yeah. That's not what you qualified.
But because I qualified for in the Southwest Division, because I caught them too good at Grand, I would have missed the Cup because I fished too well at Grand Lake.
Well, you qualified 40th.
Yeah.
So,
which was too good. I needed to miss it to be the highest finishing Central guy.
It
all worked out. It all panned out in the wash.
Yes.
I'm on the state team. I got the $20,000 check, and I got the third place trophy.
Very nice. Hey, Maynard wants to know, do you want to do this full time and give up the BTL gig?
I do not want to give up the BTL gig. I really enjoy BTL. I would like to be able to incorporate the BTL gig into a full-time fishing gig. That's the first time I think I've ever said that publicly, Mark, in 12 years.
Well, that's what we're going to try. And I mean, we tried it this year. It worked out well. We're going to step up next year and actually
and yes,
continue.
there is footage of all this. It'll probably be on the show that'll come out later that Digital P puts together. And then, so here's the other cool part. So in all this chaos, I forgot completely about my GoPro. Me on the front deck doing jumping jacks with the net, getting my fish in there.
Was it rolling?
Here, get this. The boat, I have no idea what happens for the next 3 hours. How it gets on the trailer, nothing. I just know it comes back and it's there. I look at my GoPro when I get back on it, and it has been continuously running for 4 hours and 1 minute.
Oh, wow.
I got everything.
Wow.
Have not looked at it yet. It's kind of like strapping a GoPro to a dog and then just letting him out the door. You have no idea what you're going to get.
You're going to have some editing work. That's a lot of video to go through, but well worth it because I know a lot of people out there want to see the whole week.
You know what? It'll probably be a bunch of Kevin Ledoux cussing me out for making him go through all that stuff in his underwear trying to get the boat on the trailer on the dirt ramp on Cumberland.
Dude, I got to tell you, during the weigh-in and toward the end, it was awesome because my phone was blowing up. Joe Pogger actually sent me a text. He's like, "Are you watching this?" You know, other friends of mine are texting me and emailing me and calling me, and I'm trying to watch my kids' football game while all this is going on. So I've got the headsets in, the phone here, trying to watch the game at the same time because it was really, really cool. And come to find out, you end up in third place, and then my son gets his first collegiate catch in a football game and should have had a touchdown on another play too. So it was a cool weekend, man.
I got one more thing I want to say. Obviously, you know, AFCO is one of the sponsors of BTL.
Yes.
And the whole reason why I was able to fish this whole 2 Costa series and any of this would ever happen was the vision that they had to do the AFCO Bass Boot Camp. You know, we had Johnny Z on last year and I did it this year.
Yeah.
So for them to provide me with the opportunity for the entry fees for those 2 divisions, which allowed me to make the Costa Championship, I owe them a debt of gratitude and thankfulness for what they stepped up to the plate when they entered the freshwater game a couple years ago. Bill Casey Shed, the whole guys over there, the Outdoor Brands team group there that kind of came up with that concept. I mean, I wasn't going to fish them if that didn't come to fruition.
Yeah.
So you kind of look at it all. And then at Cumberland, for it to be 28 degrees, blowing, raining, and all that.
Never been on the water.
Like, okay, it's a straight up sponsor plug, but I firmly believe the fact that I was able to focus on the fishing, was warm, was not cold, the elements did not affect me. I have all the AFCO gear, and that stuff works.
Hey,
it 100% works, and it helped me. Like, it's clothing that helped me catch fish.
That is not a shameless plug because people are going to see it in action when they look at that video, and they're going to see it during the show and everything else. They saw it, you know, in the photos. Dude, it was brutal that day.
And at the beginning of the year, I mean, listen, I've been using another brand that I really loved.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the year, I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I want to, because I know what it's like to be out there and be cold.
Miserable.
It's miserable.
Yeah.
AFCO, 100%. The anhydrous when it's warmer, the hydronaut when it's cold, the hydronaut gloves, like $45-$50, worth every damn penny. That new thing that I did with Todd Faircloth with the hat that comes over your ears, you can run with that thing and you are warm.
Yeah.
So
proud of you, man. Great stuff. Looking forward to what's going to take place in 2020. All right, a couple of things real quick. You know, the one thing about this show that makes it special for for me, and I believe for Matt too, is we're able to talk about stuff that happens in our life and still use the experience and the knowledge that we have to have great guests on this show and talk about the game that we are really entrenched in. But at the same time, it does not become a commercial. You know, this is about real stuff that's taking place. I've had an enormous amount of feedback from people that want us to go to 4 days a week. I don't know if that's going to be possible in 2020. What I do know is we are going to be able to do some 4-show weeks in 2020. Whether that's going to be every week, I don't know. A lot of that depends on the support that we're going to get from the sponsors going forward in 2020. I say this every show over the last probably 4 or 5 weeks. The feedback that we get from the fans on the comments on YouTube and the feedback that we get on the iTunes reviews, this is vital information for our sponsors to see the amount of people that are downloading this show on iTunes, the number of people that are watching the live show. Obviously, more people are downloading it and watching it on the replay than what we're doing live from an engagement standpoint. If we want this thing to get even better and do more shows next year, the support of the fans is really what's going to make this happen. And with that support comes the feedback. Hence, that's why I have been really kind of stressing over the last few weeks that it is critical so we can communicate with the companies that are involved with this show to understand the reach that we have out there, Matthew. And with the support of the sponsors, hey, we're going to try and do as many shows as we can in 2020. But this thing does not happen if it's not for the fans.
And that's a great point. I know all the messages and stuff that I've got on Instagram, Facebook, and stuff from the BTL viewers. Like, I read them, I get them. I will get to the next couple days answering all those. But yeah, I mean, that's cool to see guys. And when hey, we're pulling for you, congrats. That means a lot to me to be able to, at the end of the day, open up my phone and see that. So big shout out to all those people, and thank you for the support.
Yeah, the fans are really the ones that make this happen. So many thanks. All right, real quick, I want to wrap it up. Last night, I know you didn't watch it, but a very interesting story on 60 Minutes last night. And maybe your girlfriend might be interested in it. They actually did a story on a rodeo family. And it was the first time that I can remember. And believe me, I have watched 60 Minutes for 40 years or more. That they did a story on these rodeo guys. And it was, help me out here, Matthew, bareback bronc riding. Is that right? Where they just have the rope.
Yep.
And it's this family from, I think, Utah, and shows the trials and tribulations that they go through to be on the NFR and the amount of money, and they go into a lot of the details. So if you get an opportunity, you're interested, a lot of similarities in what's taking place over there with that report that was on 60 Minutes with what's taking place in the bass fishing world. So I watched it. It was really, really cool. All right. That's going to wrap things up. Glad to be back in studio, as I mentioned at the beginning. 3 more shows this week. Tomorrow we're going to have Ot Defo. Wednesday we're going to have Zell Rowland. Thursday we're going to talk NPFL with Al McCullough. And Matthew, that's about it. 4 shows, and really proud of you, man.
I see you moved to the Jumpman logo away from the Nike logo.
No. This was last year. I just grabbed it.
Oh, okay. I just noticing a different logo on your shirt today.
No, it's Adidas. I told you, we made the switch to Adidas. So my Adidas gear is not in yet. It will be in hopefully this week. Our big bash is tonight. We have kind of like Midnight Madness that college teams do.
Oh, so you play at night, late at night? We play at night,
yeah. Like varsity doesn't play until 10 o'clock.
What's the spread?
No, it's inter-squad.
Oh.
Yeah, it just like showcases the kids to kick things off and all that, everything.
Well,
so
I hope it's very productive for you, and congratulations on it's Aaron now, not AJ, right?
We still call him AJ, but
congratulations on AJ's first catch.
Yeah.
He's like 6'4", 320 right now.
He's not that big. He's got like no body fat whatsoever.
That had to be cool. Make you a proud dad.
Yeah. I didn't even realize he was in the game because, like I said, I was looking at the phone and Carolyn elbows me. She goes, he's in the game. He's in the game. He's in the game. And I look up and there he is. with, I don't know what it was, 29-yard reception or something like that. So, good stuff. All right, great week on BTL. Big shout-out to all the fans out there once again. Hang with us. We will continue what we do right here on BTL. Everybody, we are out of here.